Delete. I didn't want to make this video. I've put it off until the parks are almost open again, almost all open again, that is. Um, but I promised it in the last video, and that is a good way to get me to do something stupid. So this is Dreams. This is a 3D interactive media creation tool that runs on the PlayStation 4 and 5. What you're seeing right now, just to keep this even tangentially related to theme parks, is a project that I got a little ways on. As you can see, everything is very sketchy here. And I just kind of posted my notes as big text objects on the walls. I was going to make a dark ride about dark rides. The ride vehicles right here. I never did truly get the thing working. In dreams, if something doesn't work relatively easily, you either aren't meant to make it in dreams or you're making it wrong. I am definitely making this vehicle wrong. Like, the way to do this is absolutely just to make a little vehicle that you steer and then record a possession. Possession being when you take hold of something. Like, yeah, you can possess this guy. Here, I'll work on that. Um, just need to get to test mode. Yeah, see, when you possess something that's possessible, it becomes, your guy. Um, I did make this turnstile, and it does work. Yeah, sort of. it, it rotates one way, but it lets you through both ways. I'm not too bothered about that. But anyway, oh yeah, this guy got a while. It does sort of follow the track, it just doesn't follow it as smoothly as I wanted. I spent a lot of time in Dreams trying to develop things and finding that the limits of whatever approach I had decided to choose were just that things weren't quite as nice as I wanted them. Um, I spent a really long time devoted to Dreams. This is a channel about theme parks here. We're coming up on the Futurama part, not the TV series, but the 1920 something World's Fair, arguably still the pinnacle of dark rides. Yeah, I'm pretty out of practice in this program. That is one reason, among others, um, that I have not decided, in fact, to throw myself into making the sketch for the centerpiece of Destiny Gardens. That is what I decided to call the theme park that I started sketching things on in our last episode. I've taken us outside here just so you can see anything that I'm about to demonstrate. That Dreams is Hall. Yeah. Dreams is built on these flex, and it's meant so you can be very abstract and etc. And for the most part, all people do is make big structures that you want to look smooth, so you make the flex very tiny and it's harder on the engine. But if you do work very big and abstract, you can make things that look cool. And as soon as I had the kind of mental image of like the rainbow pagoda thing that I wanted at the center of the park. Another key part of the Dreams aesthetic is that you can clone things. If I just hit L1 and grab the thing, then I get another one. But then if I use the D-pad, then I get all of these clones, and any rotations or resizings that you do are gonna come out on the and so I wanted to make a kind of big structure that was kind of chaotic with these just big panes of like stained glass and different colors that would get thrown everywhere. But I had a lot of trouble coming up with anything that didn't look like it should have a flared base. And I finally just, kind of admitted that I needed to, make them be I'm processing here because I'm trying to remember how to change the color of individual flecks. Um, but eventually I kind of agreed with myself that, oh, if I was really making a theme park, I would entrust a task like this to somebody who was like a really good architect who had a vision for it. And I don't. So I'm going to keep things simple. So as you can see in my map that I've gotten to work on here, I just went ahead and drew something pagoda-like because yeah, I don't have a brilliant design, and this is just early concept art, and that's gonna be fine. That's kind of the theater. We've talked about all that, and then there's some rock work over here. Don't worry about it. Dreams was a sad story for me because I kept not being able to make it work the way I wanted to make the things that I wanted to make, and because it it, of course, didn't continue to get the, support that we all wanted for it. It didn't get the success that we all wanted for it in the community. Um, this was gonna be where I eventually drop a pirate ship. I can probably just actually drop a pirate ship in here right now. Let's see. Let's get a pirate ship. This one looks nice and simple. I bet I can fit it in here. Oh. I am a little rusty with this. Yeah, the whole idea of this scene was this was gonna start to be about Disneyland and, Peter Pan, and so you would have things like, yeah, you would have examples of it. Um, so I just sketched things in here with the kind of built-in, dreams, ability to sketching. I don't remember what I meant by this. Um, look, I smeared together a bunch of cubes. They're individual in this mode, then you come out here and you just have one big thing. And it's kind of a way to sketch things out if you don't care for the moment whether they look good. And then through this corner, I was going to start talking about Rise of the Resistance and how that's arguably not a dark ride anymore. Almost. It is a dark ride, but it's also pushing the limits of the medium in more than one way. And then things, my sketching in particular, got very vague because I don't really know how I was going to do the visuals of this last room. I frankly got to points that were too abstract. And then I was going to do a bit where, as you come around the very last turn, and as the ride ends, then you just have the voice of somebody on the PA systems that you can, of course, never understand in theme parks, and somebody that go, "Please wait until your hands and arms has come to a complete stop. And thank you for riding." Just things like that. Um, yeah, uh, it was. I kinda got my heart broken, by dreams because, I had a dream, if you will, of how it was going to work, and then the reality of how it worked turned out not to be what I wanted, but also, there were things like that it was probably never going to be, reasonable to add multiplayer, and that was a thing that they needed to do at that moment. It was never gonna be reasonable to, allow people to sell their games, and that's a thing that people want to do. Whether or not that is smart, I don't know. Um, Also, I wanna say that, like, part of the reason this video took so long is that I kept going into dreams expecting to, like, build things and de-rust a little bit towards this video, and instead, I would just play Tren, which is this game that Media Molecule made within Dreams. It's a great little action puzzler. It's not too tough, but it's really beautiful. And, like, it's worth easily $10 alone, and Dreams goes on sale for that every so often. Just get Dreams if you have a PlayStation. It's fun in there. It's still a really remarkable thing that Media Molecule made, as much as I am still kind of mad at them for overpromising and underdelivering. But also just I wanted to use dreams to get back to our point about tools and time and talent. Uh, I wanted to play with dreams because I felt like no matter what I wanted to do on a given day, like if I had some sculpting to do, but I didn't want to do it, my body was saying no, then I could do something else but still stay in dreams. There is, for example, a complete set of music tools in here. Um, yeah, if I open this up, yeah, you can just drop instruments on here, and it's the best, like, tool for composing music that you can run on a PlayStation. I thought I could distract myself when I didn't wanna do one thing, I could just do another, and there were enough, open fronts kind of on this tool that I could make it work. Um, you wanna go outside? Let's go outside. I've wondered a lot over the course of this project whether I shouldn't spend more time in parks, just for the point of comparison. And I've thought about making videos in the city the way that I said, I think in the first video, that it seems like I ought to do. Why not seek my novelty out here? After all, parks were a response to urbanity. I talked about that too. And theme parks were at least 50% a response to those city parks, and the other 50% maybe a response to carnivals and traveling fairs, which are as old as people living together. They're as old as entertainment. They're as old as this. I think I've made a number of mistakes in this off season. I think that I've let my head take over in a way that I specifically sought to avoid at the outset when I started going to KI. My head wants to turn everything into a problem. My head wants to make everything as frictive as possible. And friction is increasingly popular these days, right? People want it. My claim has been that I've got enough of it in just going to work and then getting back home, keeping my life on the rails. Maybe so. It's a beautiful spring day. Park's gonna open in a little less than a month. We've made it through content winter. We have crawled on our knees through the content desert, and soon I will be able to do the thing that the channel is for again. There is also a water park. I'm really happy. I am not sure what I've been doing for these last few months. I'm not totally sure what I'm going to be doing for the next few. And that, as we've discussed before, is a place that I like to be. Yeah, see you soon. Look at this place, though. 100% of this is for tennis. Earth certainly is full of things.